Greetings, 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 everyone. How are you? Let me know if you can hear me. Tell me, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'll give you a minute to come in and answer me. Aquateki. Greetings. How are you? Let's see. I have some couple of notes, and it's funny because I do about 3 shows a week, just about, and I'm trying to remember what show I shared this with, so I don't repeat it. This had to be from Tuesday, so you guys haven't heard about my thoughts on Judge Tammy Kemp and the bailiff. Shout out to Simone Biles for making history again. Yeah, I think she got the fifth. Yeah, this is her fifth world title at the world's champion. So that's a wonderful thing. Let's see what else I got here while I'm waiting. Hello, hello. New channel, fresh start. Not sure how many people know about it, but it will grow as time go on. So I have invited a few ladies personally that have had a rough start, and I let them know, hey, this is Zero's brainchild, and he asked me to run an all women's panel, and I am honored, and I'm always putting on the hat, so I have no problem helping for the cause. All right, I'm going to get started. As far as Judge Tammy Kemp, and if in case you don't know who that is, she was the presiding judge over the Amber Geiger case. And she happened to go on, well, what happened, but she ended up going around on different talk shows talking about her experience. And the information that I had got that I found that stood out is she was going around explaining what all this was about. As far as the bailiff rubbing her hands through the woman's hair, she said she was looking for contraband. That was her excuse. And I do mean excuse because there's no way that woman is sitting down in the courtroom and you just rubbing, stroking just the back. If you're looking for contraband, I've seen it, even though it might have been movies, but I have seen enough to know that you're supposed to stand up, spread your arms out, because what they do to me at the airport is nothing nice. So she's sitting there, and the woman is just stroking the hair, like, "Oh, this is a nice Barbie doll. I had hair like this on my Barbie doll when I was younger." That's what was going on there. So I'm like, "Come on now, stop it." But that was her excuse. That was her splaining. So, hey. That's her story, and she stuck to it. And then, as far as her explaining about the Bible, she went on to say that the woman was, upset and said that she didn't know if God would forgive her, and she didn't know where to start, and that she did not even have a Bible. Now, I don't recall her age. I know she's in her 30s, if I'm not mistaken. But that's interesting. That was the first time that she thought about God. Between her having a relationship outside of this guy's marriage, and she was doing it for over a year, because I saw her on the stand saying that she knew it was wrong and she stopped, but she had been doing it, but yet all this texting and carrying on. And she said she knew it was wrong, she stopped, and all of that, but yet she continued. Now I don't know where to stop and actually stop because she continued. And this was her first time really taking a look at religion, I guess you would say. But whatever, that was her explanation that she gave her Bible, and because she had 3 or 4 of them already at home. I'm like, okay. Now my question is, again, I haven't had any experience about jail, but I've seen enough movies and talked to a few officers and all of that. How do you take anything to prison with you? That's what I want to know. They doing that now. That's the new thing in 2019. You get gifts to take to prison with you while you're serving. Okay, so that's a new one on me. I'm talking about the judge Ruby, uh, that she went around explaining. I got to take the X off.
Explain. Mm-hmm.
She went around explaining that the bailiff was just checking for contraband when she was rubbing her hair.
Because no one saw that video, and we don't know the difference. Like, I'm sorry, there's been too many trials on TV. Too many of us know someone who's really been in jail. We had to be up in the courthouse with them and whatever for us to we can tell the difference. And at no point have I seen any of them check anybody's hair in a public courtroom. Period. Spare me.
Right.
Really.
What was that all about? She was stroking. I
Mm-hmm.
thought about that blues song, stroking to the east, stroking to the west, and whatever else. She was stroking. That wasn't
Mm-hmm.
looking for no contraband. That woman was stroking.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's the weirdest thing about this scenario. Now, yes, obviously we know white people, and especially the innocent white woman, is treated differently by the justice system. We know this. But this was strange. It was like the world wanted to comfort this chick. And I don't understand why. Like, are we sorry for her because she was like the one white person who actually had to go to jail for murdering one of ours? Like, are we feeling guilty? Like it's like survivor's guilt almost? Like, oh, well, it's kind of not fair. You were convicted. No one else is. Oh, they're there. Like, I don't understand this. I don't understand why any of us, whether it's from a complexion, I know all skin folk ain't kin folk, but from a complexion standpoint, from a family standpoint, like you want to hug this woman, even if you're kind of like, all right, fine, don't throw the book at her or something. You want to touch her. Everyone in the bailiff, the judge, everyone wants to be hugging her. Why? Like, it strikes me as so suspicious, and it strikes me like there is a massive piece of the puzzle that
Mm-hmm.
we don't know. We're
Yeah.
missing something. They didn't tell us everything. There is no way. I don't care how brainwashed you are by the system. This is why we've never seen it before, and that's why we're all creeped out by it, because this isn't normal. Something else happened.
Yeah. Had to be.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. And I was watching Lovely T, and she addressed the issue, and she said the same thing. She said, first of all, there was like a red carpet in the entrance when you first come in. then she was commenting on the way that they were speaking about her. And it seems like, if you really look at it, it seems like the family, knew her before this crime happened. This is someone that is known to the family, maybe even loved by the family. That's not the story that's being told, but it seems like they must have known her. Something went wrong, and everyone is okay with the thing that went wrong. And we don't know what it is. And for God knows what reason, they're not going to tell. So I don't know if it's something like it would make the police department look negligent if she admits this one thing. Maybe she has, I don't know, psychotic fugue episodes where she's, I don't know, something. It's something though. They know something we don't. And so as weird as this looks to me, on the one hand, regardless and blah, 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 I'm like, this one's going too far for me. This one's going too far that I'm like, nah, there is really a conspiracy. There really is a cover up. And she's taken a bullet basically for this cover up, but everyone knows something. It's weird.
Yeah, I have and I'm gonna add this too, and then I'll give you my thoughts about something. There was a Wisconsin group named FFRF, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and they actually filed a formal complaint against the judge, and they're asking for a judicial misconduct investigation because she gave her a Bible. Now, I have a feeling that that's going to either go away or something. If they do get somewhere, they're going to end up something going to happen to the judge. Now I don't know which way it would go, but that's something to think about.
That is a good point. And see, like, how many cases has that judge tried? Just think about how weird that is. She's a judge. Before she was a judge, she was a lawyer. How many cases has she seen tried or fought or whatever, and she felt the need to give this one defendant a Bible? Things aren't adding up. Things aren't adding up.
Yeah.
Like, I just wish I could know what it was. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I just want them to just be honest. Just for once, just let us know what the real deal is. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's probably compromising something. It's going to make the police department probably look bad because the cover up has something to do with protecting the police department and maybe one or more people within it who are higher than her. That much is for sure. And I would be willing to bet money that she is known to the family.
Okay.
I believe that this was not an intentional shooting. I know. No one's down with this, but hear me out. If there's something wrong with her, like, I mean, really wrong with her, I don't know. She suffers from something where she sleepwalks, something like that. And I don't think she did it intentionally. I think she was in a relationship with this guy. I think she was in a relationship with him, and she sleepwalks and whatever, and she shot him in the sleepwalking because the story doesn't make sense. You're gonna, oh, I've never been in this apartment before. My key wouldn't fit inside the door. I opened the door. Nothing about the decor looks the same. But oh, I thought it was in my apartment, and there was a black man sitting on someone else's couch that looks nothing like mine. Like, the story doesn't make any sense. Right? So then you go back to, okay, well, why would they cover up then? Why wouldn't they just tell the real story? I think it's because whatever the hell's wrong with her that had her in her little fugue state shooting people and whatever, the police department knew about it. And they knew that might make her unstable and or dangerous and ignored it. And so if they were to admit to any of that in court, or it came out in court, the police department would be liable to be sued civilly. It might destroy the police department as it stands, and they can't afford that. So instead, they concocted this elaborate bullshit lie that doesn't make any sense. Everybody involved, including Amber and the family, and everybody knows this is some bullshit, but everyone's got to stand there and pretend like it's not. And I don't know, maybe they had a hush-hush quiet settlement in the background, with a non-disclosure agreement or something. I don't know, but it's something like that.
I have an idea, and I always have some far-fetched ideas, and that's okay. I'm a dreamer.
Yes, put on the tinfoil hat. Get it going. Let's hear it.
If a person resigns or is fired from the police department,
Mhm.
They should lose the status and not be treated as one in court or anything else.
Mhm.
They should also, and let's just say, just bear with me, if police officers, if police officers would have the same type of insurance that a doctor would have for
Mhm.
malpractice, I bet a lot of stuff would go away because
Mm.
the price of it will be one thing. And what's going to happen? They're going to like,
Mhm.
oh shoot, I can't afford that. Okay. Uh, uh, well, oh, that's a cell phone. Oh, I can see clearly that's a cell phone you have. Okay, sir, we're just going down the street and stop all that noise.
Mhm.
Cut the radio down out your car. All right, have a good day. It'd be a whole different subject.
Mhm.
It would be.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
And greetings everyone that came in. Not going to be that good as far as back and forth, but hey, just just bear with me. I'll get there.
Hey,
But
I think we're
yeah.
doing a great job so far.
Oh, all right.
Mhm. I told
Yeah,
you it's
got it.
something about the way you deliver your information and your thoughts and your message. It's so nice to listen to. Like even when I disagree with the point you're making, I'm like I just want to hear it anyway. So even when you were by yourself, it was amazing. I'm like I might be bringing it down a little bit by a couple notches, but it's all right. You know what I mean? People will adjust to me. They already got your voice. They'll stay for me just to hear you respond next. That's what
Uh-uh. That is so cool. You're a mess.
I'm saying. I know, right?
Hey, Don Teasy, I miss you. I'm also going to mention, as far as the poor guy, Joshua Brown, which was the witness in the Amber Geiger trial. I really think that's a setup. I can't prove it, of course, but there's
Mm,
coincidences. But okay, I'm not with drugs or anything, but I've been around enough to know if the spot is closed here, go down 2 blocks, 3 blocks,
mhm,
over down the street, and you can go to another block. And these guys got in a car and drove from Louisiana to Dallas for some drugs?
mhm. Right?
Come
That
on.
doesn't make any sense. That makes
Come
no
on.
sense at all. Come on.
Hey, bro, let's fill up the tank and drive and go get some drugs. Yeah. You got your overnight bag? Come on. And there's no discount. Times are hard. Nobody's giving no discount. Not like that. You're going to go that far for some drugs. Oh, I ain't cut the drugs that much, sir. So, y'all can come on down here. I give you a good deal. Uh-uh. And then they didn't get anything. That's the other thing. They didn't get anything. I could see if you got the drugs and then there was altercation or something, but it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't. And that's I don't know what kind of drug dealers, going on with that. You got out of town folks to, you know, get your to buy from you. Now that could happen. I don't know that much about it, but I know enough. Like I said, um, the places are called spots. Now, if they updated the way they say it now, I don't know, but that's a hell of a place to go for the next spot out of town to get high, get your product. Come on.
It, it doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. Nothing about any of this makes sense. It's not like you'd be like, ah, it's probably a lie, but I see how they concocted this story. The story, it doesn't make any sense. Like, tell me how. If you drove all the way to somewhere, it's again not close. You had to go take a mission. Are you leaving that place without the thing you came for? Of course not. Of course not.
Right,
Right? There's
right.
no way. Like, okay, so you're not into drugs and alcohol, let's say, whatever. So you drove, let's say, 5 hours to go and get this winter jacket that you've been dying for. It's the only store that sells it, and whatever, you saved up the money, you finally got the money, you're going to go drive down there to go get it. And let's say now you drive down there and you don't initially see it. You just turn around and go home. Just oh no, you're gonna sit there, you'll be like, no, I drove all the way down here. Your stock online says you guys have it. You better find it for me. You're gonna sit there and make sure that when you leave, you got your jacket in the back seat with you. It's
Yeah.
Come on.
And it was a total of 3 of them.
Right.
You shot him, you grabbed his gun, you grabbed the drug and money. Let's get out of here. You think everybody these 3 guys just gonna scramble and just run? And you got a car too? You're not even on foot?
Right.
Hey, like I said, let me have my tinfoil hat on. I'm sorry. I'm not accepting that as a answer.
Trust me, I never have a tinfoil hat on. You know, I am always so like extra logical and grounded. I'm telling you, with this whole entire connected series of events, I got a tinfoil hat. I had to go get one. So it's shiny and new, never been used before until now. But like, what the hell is going on here? And how is anyone buying into this? Like, there's gotta be no, just no. Just no. That's my final answer. Final verdict. No. The end. Yeah. I refuse.
That is crazy.
Oh my god. And it's just it gets to the point though where it's almost terrifying if you think about it, right? So you know, cops can shoot us in the back, murder us for no reason, so on and so forth, say, I was afraid for my life, and mostly no one ever gets charged. Okay. And then you have situations like this where when one person gets charged, it so doesn't make sense that like you have no choice but to look at it with some side eye, and then stuff starts happening connected to it, and you got to look at it with extra side eye. Like, what is going on? Like, we can't just get one honest, solid win, you know, just one time.
Just one,
right? Just one.
Just one. Just give me one.
Right? We need a W. Just give us one honest, cut and dry W. We all look at it. I mean, sure, we all looked at it and we're like, listen, oh, you were in the wrong apartment. Cut and dry W. Until you see the way everyone's behaving after the sentence has been rendered. Now I don't feel good about my W. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This doesn't feel right.
It's a mess. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't feel right. I don't like it.
Nope. And the unfortunate thing is, I have a feeling we are never going to really get the answers. We're never going to know what really happened, why there is this giant setup / cover up, and most importantly, we're never going to figure out why it is that they're all this dumb. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, the average police department is full of like brilliant people, right? But I'm just saying that Texas cannot be so dumb that this is the best they could do in the way of cover up stories. Like, really? Like, y'all have zero logic at all? I don't know. They're going to need to get themselves a committee or something to start making up their lives for them, because they're not used to having to. You know what I mean? I guess they're like in the South, so they're not used to having to justify themselves ever, make up stories. They just go, scared for my life. Y'all know the drill. Okay, yeah, cool, you're innocent. Like, they're not really used to having to do all this. And I think that's why, since they have no practice, it's so bad. So badly laid out.
Right. Wow.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Too much.
Scary. Yeah.
And then the next thing I have on the docket. Just gonna spend a little time. You may have more to say than I have to say about this DJ screw all the women guy.
Oh.
Yeah. I haven't looked deep into that. I glanced over that. I'm like, okay. And I listened to a stream with Jay Shine. I only got a chance to hear a little bit of it, but he was showing the Facebook and all of that. But just the only thing I want to point out is you have to have help. You have to have help. even if it's
Mm.
just the parents helping. You have help in order to get these girls um, to go in that direction, get paid, and whatever else, so this guy can have them.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that's pretty much all I was going to say about it. So it isn't really a surprise per se, because he had help. He just wasn't that cool to do it on his own. So that's the
Right.
only thing I really want to add to that.
Well, and I mean, if you look at it, right, and I understand that no one is putting any of these connections together, mostly because a lot of the focus is on Black women worshiping white men and whatever. But if you look at this, right, because I don't think a lot of people know this. So sure, he was arrested for, allegedly infecting 600 women with HIV. But you look at, he was arrested for human trafficking of women as young as 13. Um, let's see, he was arrested for 3 counts of trafficking, 3 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and 1 count each of second-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor, promoting prostitution of a minor, and kidnapping. Okay, this is not a dude who, oh well, he was just chilling in the block, and everyone was like, oh yeah, he's cool, and he was just chilling over there in the corner, and he wasn't making waves or doing anything. He was kidnapping and raping and selling our children into sexual slavery. Okay,
Hmm.
on top of that, and now we don't know the conditions of this. Maybe this was like that whole breaking thing that pimps do, where they break the woman so that way she will now freely have sex with whatever customer. So you sleep with them a lot and blah blah blah. We don't know um,
Hmm.
any of those conditions. We just said 600 women, white man, and then everyone jumped to all kinds of conclusions.
Hmm.
Um, but when I look at the list of criminal charges there, I'm going to say that there's a lot more to this story than that. And that I think that one way or the other, what we got to look at is the fact that we let this predator pedophile into our community to kidnap our children, to rape our children, and to sell our children into sexual slavery. And I don't think that part is being focused on enough. We're focusing on the
Hmm.
grown ass women and to just talking about the ones who chose to sleep with him because he was white or whatever. But what about the rest of it? Like, are we
Hmm.
not concerned about this? We're not concerned about all the dangerous criminals that we let into our communities and allow ourselves to become even more vulnerable to people who look at us as like little more than animals. You know what I mean? We're throwaway to them. And in fact, if anything, they hate us enough that they want to do vicious, terrible, criminal things to us, like infecting us with HIV, our children. Again,
Hmm.
I can't. Every
Uh-huh.
time we talk about the children, I can't get past the our children part
Yeah.
of a story. And I'm not sure, and to me, this is pointing out a lot of issues within our community because I'm not sure why there isn't at least collective disgust and outrage at that part. But you don't hear it at all.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't go deep into the story. I did hear some, but yeah, that's what I'm pointing at. He had help. So
Mm-hmm.
just that in general is enough for me. He had help.
Yeah.
The family,
Mm.
family, friends, whoever. There was some help, and that's what disturbs me. What you're saying.
Isn't there always though? I mean, you look at how many people everybody knows. I don't care. Listen, and I'm just gonna be really honest with this one. So R. Kelly, I don't really think he has a great voice, but apparently he does, just not in his songs, but fine, whatever. But he makes amazing music. Amazing music. You can't take away the talent that brother has. He makes amazing music. And despite him making amazing music, we know what kind of band he is. We know he likes very young girls, right? We know
Hmm.
this. Um, I remember, and honestly, you can actually pretty easily find it now on Pornhub and stuff. I remember when that video came out of him having sex with that 13-year-old girl. Her boobs hadn't even dropped into like a natural position yet. having her
Oh,
dance in front
wow.
of a camera and stuff. Yeah, it was really disturbing because you could look and see she was a little girl. Not she was 16. She was a little girl. Like she yeah. And you know, then the one that he peed on her face. Again, you can tell these are
Ugh.
very young girls. Yes. And this came out like 20 years ago. You know, this was not, you know, a little bit of time ago. So it has been well known what kind of man R. Kelly is. And despite that, people will be taking their 15-year-old, 14-year-old, 16-year-old daughters to R. Kelly and being like, make my daughter, you gonna make my daughter a star? Yay. I'm gonna ignore all that pedophilia stuff now because you really mean that you're gonna make my daughter a star. Like, and they're doing this, right? We have this problem in our community where we overlook um abuse and stuff like that, and we end up enabling this type of behavior. You know, it's not even
I
like that
agree.
we have to be actively trying to help people, you know, sell our children or, you know, rape our children or what. It's not about that.
Mhm.
It's about the fact that we are enabling it, and we do it mindlessly. We do it without even just stopping and putting two and two together about what we're actually doing and the impacts of that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but overall, that is happening in general when it comes to celebrity because uh, people actually worship the celebrity. They go
Mm-hmm.
and look at it with me through my eyes. You go to the concert, you got the a particular mood going on. They have you to raise your hands and uh, vibe with them, and it's similar to what they do in the church. Um, People may not look at it that way, but that's fine. But there's literally sacrificing their family members and even themselves for just the aura of that celebrity. They're literally
Mm-hmm.
worshiping them. So it's a mess.
Oh yeah. It's sad, and you know, I think part of that is because, you know, so much of us are sold that brainwashing that tells us that we can only be something, be about something, be successful, be respected, be loved, whatever, if we're in a very small amount of careers, you know.
Hmm.
And if you don't have sports talent, then basically you have to have that type of artistic talent where you sing or dance or rap or act, and that's it. Or you do sports, and if you can't do one of those things, you're never going to be anything. That's the brainwashing. So people are so desperate to make it and to get out of the hood and get their family out of the hood and whatever, and they don't think that there's another logical way of doing it. They don't understand because no one is telling them any different. So, you know, they're also desperate to be the one, and to be the exception and to be the star and to be discovered the way people were back in the 90s and stuff, right? That they're they're ignoring all of those other logical things. And the fact that, like, are you guys not noticing that this is not how things are happening? No one's getting discovered off the street. When was the last time you heard R. Kelly discovered someone besides
Yeah,
Aaliyah? Aaliyah died like 20, almost 20 years ago. But
yeah.
you're gonna keep sending your kids to R. Kelly to be around R. Kelly in the hopes that somehow he's gonna his stardom and his fame and his success and whatever is gonna rub off on them, or he's gonna do something for them, or like, we need to stop chasing fame.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's
right?
uh, it's a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the next thing I have on the docket, because I have two more things. This one is a story I found. It just I had to say something about this one. As you can see, it's an ex-Chicago cop who shot and killed Nikita Boyd. She was an innocent bystander, by the way. He wants his record of his charges wiped clean for a fresh start. Now let me go into why he needs a fresh start. That's what's the amazing part. There it is. If you guys don't remember, it was 2012. Some kids, I think they came over to his car. He got into it because he didn't like the loud noise. He was plain clothes and everything. Okay, so what happened is he shot at the person who came near him, found out the person had a cell phone, like, oops, my bad. But his bullet grazed that person and it shot and killed this young lady. Now he says he need a fresh start because his salary or his pension rather doesn't cut it. He's stressed out. Let's see, he got extreme depression, post traumatic stress disorder, and he's having a hard time finding a steady job. So, he wants a fresh start. He wants his record clean. Forget all of that. He wants his record clean. That I think he got 57,000 a year. That's not enough for him. He said that doesn't cut it. It isn't cut it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he wants his record just boop.
Hmm.
He wanted just wipe clean.
I just want
Yeah.
to show of hands. Tell me how many people in the chat room, how many people you know personally who make more than $57,000 American a year. It's not that many. There's a lot of people who are fronting currently on the internet, pretending that they make 60,000 a year. But let's be real, and let's also be real in the fact that when we talk about benchmarks of like just basic comfort, $50,000 is more than adequate. More than adequate. So
Yeah.
you're gonna tell me that you're $57,000 a year more than the average middle class black family is making, and you're trying to tell me, well, man, that's too much hardship for you. You killed someone. You don't have to go to jail for it. And why should you have to live on pennies? $57,000 a year. That's basically poverty. You're trying to tell me he really thinks that he should have no consequences for his actions? Okay.
Yeah. Just wipe it clean. We go unsee and unbury the woman, I guess. I don't know. And get him a job and all that. What job what is he trying to get? That's the question. What type of job
Exactly.
is he trying to get?
Thank you.
His life is changed. You were plain clothes. You had no business shooting at anyone, saying anything to anyone about them with their loud music. So what? Do you do that in your own neighborhood? Well, he probably does. So maybe I shouldn't ask that question. But come on, you did the wrong thing. You committed a crime. You killed someone. That wasn't a good thing that you did.
Right.
And you want it just erased, just erase it, everybody. Shoot, I forgot how old he is. You're an older man. They're not erasing that. They're not gonna forget that. You're not a
Mm-hmm.
teen. This wasn't an accident. It was an accident, but you were negligent because you had no business pulling out your weapon, plain clothes. You had no
Yep.
business. That's just the bottom line.
Yep. I'm sorry. You're having a hard time? Okay. Let's talk then about the God, I couldn't even put a number on the amount of black men who
Mm-hmm.
have been charged with a crime that they're actually innocent of, had to spend time in jail. Later, it was proven that no, they're actually innocent. They were released from jail and they're still waiting for that to be expunged from their record, as in the criminal charge for something they didn't do.
Right.
But and they can't find a job, period. So when they get to work, they're making all $12,000 a year if they're lucky. And you're trying to tell me this cop who did in fact pull out his gun for no damn reason and shoot at someone who wasn't gonna harm him in any way because they didn't have a gun too, killed somebody, got off scot-free on that. He feels like somehow he's suffering a hardship.
Yeah.
Okay. And he doesn't even care about he's not even talking about, oh, painful reminder, a woman's dead. No, he doesn't care about her. She's whatever. Who cares about her? The point is, I want to make more money. I want to be in security because that's what it is. It's got to be he wants a cushy security job or something like that where you can't have that type of charge on your record. You can't have anything because you'd have to be in one of those sensitive or specialized background checks where it's going to look for things that you have been charged with, even if the charge is vacated, even if everything's dropped. There are some types of jobs you can apply for with just the fact that the charge exists, it blocks you. But those are really specialized types of jobs. Like you could get a job in a call center, no problem with the charge that you were never convicted of. So guess he doesn't want a call center job or a basically, right? I'm telling you, he wants one of those cushy security jobs. His boy from the force is hooking it up, and he can make an extra $100,000 a year sitting on his ass at some desk somewhere, and he's feeling real hard done by that he can't just have this thing disappear from his record, so he could sit down and make $100,000 a year and talk about how the system screwed him by charging him with manslaughter for a murder he committed. The bullet hit the wrong person, but he was trying to shoot someone and kill them. Let's not get it twisted here.
Right.
You tried to shoot and kill someone. Just because you killed the wrong person doesn't mean you're innocent of a crime. You didn't accidentally. So you were driving your car and you accidentally hit someone, but driving your car does not imply you're trying to hurt someone. But when you pull out a gun, aim it at a human and shoot, you are trying to hurt that person. That is not manslaughter. It's not accidental. It's not, like,
right. Duh.
oh my God. Oh my God, they are so entitled. And the hilarious thing is they don't see their privilege and they don't see how entitled they are. They really don't.
They're so used to it. That's all. Just used to it.
Yep. Also never forget the case. So it wasn't a case, but what happened was there was a news story where basically it was in a grade school and this kind of like acting troupe came in and basically just acted out the whole I don't think it was being shot, but it was more being arrested when you're innocent and police brutality and whatever. This is like something illustrating what's really going on in the world that Black people are facing. And so what happened is now there's this little white girl. I think she's like in the second grade or third grade or something, and her dad is a cop, and she came crying to her daddy, going, do you hurt innocent Black kids, basically. So the father's in an outrage. All the little white kids' parents are in an outrage because for them, what they're saying is, well, these are just kids and we should be protecting them. And, they shouldn't have to know about any of these harsh realities. They're not equipped to have to deal with any of this harsh stuff. This is terrible. We shouldn't. Okay, but see, they don't understand how much that is just screaming white privilege because we don't have the luxury of protecting our 7 and 8 and 9-year-olds from reality. You got to train your 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds to not do and to do certain things. And you have to impress upon them how serious it is for them to not play with their water gun outside, for them to not run if they see a cop and whatever, and explain to them that it's going to be a matter of life versus death, that they will shoot you and kill you. You have to tell your 8-year-old that, we have 8-year-olds that they've arrested for no good reason. You know what I mean, and brought them out of school. We have 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds. They're charging as adults for murder and then convicting them for life at 12 years old. A stupid decision you made at 12 years old. Your life is gone forever. And that is perfectly fine. But the cop who has training and should know better can shoot and kill somebody by accident, quote unquote, right? Manslaughter. It's manslaughter when the grown-ass man who's a cop shoots and kills somebody. That's manslaughter. That's accidental, and he should have literally no punishment, including just even evidence of the charge, so he can't have a cushy $100,000 security job. But the 12-year-old who was holding a gun, because he was being bullied, that's why he brought it to school, and the teacher was trying to talk him down, and it accidentally went off because he's 12 and he doesn't know how to handle a gun. No. That's not manslaughter. That's first-degree murder. And we're going to charge him as an adult, and then we're going to lock him up for life. And that's okay. Like, if they don't understand the hypocrisy and the privilege that comes with just being white in and of itself, I don't know. I don't know how many things need to happen consistently for them to open their eyes and see. I guess they won't, but what I hope is that some of our people who are sitting there and mimicking this stupid white privilege narrative about there's no such thing as white privilege. no, we're equal. Racism ended after civil rights movement.
What are you talking about?
Right? like I hope those people start opening their eyes. Like, what are you missing? Oh my God. And there's so many cases lately. Like, oh man, I'm not gonna say her name right.
Okay.
Ata, Tatiana. That was her name.
Okay.
Tatiana Jefferson. Sorry to bring up another case. I don't know if you
Okay.
brought this
Go
up
ahead.
before or not, but so
Go ahead.
Tatiana Jefferson, 28-year-old woman, chilling now. In all fairness, should her little kid nephew, I think he was like 8 years old or something like that, should he have been awake at 2:30 in the morning playing video games with her? Probably not. You know, it's 2:30 in the morning, but whatever. It is what it is. It's a weekend. So
Yeah.
her and her nephew are chilling on their couch. They're playing video games at 2:30 in the morning. Now, a neighbor looked at the house and saw that the lights are on in the house. The doors are open, the front and back doors are open. And so she called the police because she was just as a welfare check, right? Like, can you just go check and make sure they're okay? Because,
Uh-huh.
you know, the doors being open at this time of night is a little bit strange. Okay.
Right.
So the police show up at this 20-year-old woman's house. She's sitting there and just playing video games with her nephew. And they show up and they come and they look and they see the front door open with the lights on. They don't knock on the door. They don't ring the doorbell. They start skulking around the side of the house. There's two of them skulking around the side of the house. Now, meanwhile, while they're skulking around the side of the house and whispering to each other and whatever, the nephew hears something. He's like, I hear something in the backyard. Let's listen. So the auntie listens, and of course she's going to defend her nephew, and she has a gun. It's a legal gun. She's got a legal license to carry that gun, and she's inside of her looking through the window now, right? Looking through the blinds, holding her gun, because you know it sounds like there's a prowler at the back of her house. And the cop now sees her peeking through the blinds and goes, "Put your hands up! Put your hands up!" Boom. That was it. There was no pause. There was no time for her to even react before he shot and killed that woman, who's sitting inside of her house playing video games, not committing a crime, not playing music too loud, she didn't jaywalk earlier. She was just chilling with her nephew. And then she legally did what she was supposed to be able to do, which is hold a gun and open the blinds to check because people are prowling around her house. So how would she know who's inside of her in the backyard? They're prowling around the backyard. Before they notify her, whatever, they shoot her, kill her, dead. This is a legal woman. They tried hard to find dirt on her. They could not find anything.
Right.
So,
and this to say, oh, the nephew said she had a gun. Why did you need to say that to us that she owned one in the house? Why did you all need to tell us that?
right.
You know.
Right.
So we already see the picture that they're trying to paint. If you didn't say the officer saw a gun, forget that she had one. Because I went as far as say she got tampons in the house. Didn't mean she was on a cycle. Now what?
Right. Yep. Exactly. That's the point. She had a gun. Okay, fine. She did. But here's the thing. Her having the gun, owning the gun, or holding the gun while she's inside of her house and people are prowling in her backyard, not a crime.
Right. Don't even talk about it. Right.
No, but they're trying to highlight it like she's some gangster. Well, she had a gun.
Something. Yeah.
Right. And they, of course, you know, some of these racist, prudish, white people, whatever, they're not going to sit there and try to look into the story. It's going to be like, oh, well, she had a gun. Of course the cop had to shoot.
Right. They plant that in your head. They did that on purpose. Then if it wasn't a gun, next thing is, oh, well, she had a collection of knives. They would have went as far as necessary. It wouldn't matter. They would have came up with something. I got to add something. I got to say something. Now, in his case, by him quitting, he would be the perfect example. Now that you're not with the police force anymore, now you're on your own. You don't get any special privileges, and you better have insurance for this death that you caused. call an accident, you call it whatever you want. But now it's time for that insurance. You got to kick in. About
Mm-hmm.
time that you get through paying. You're not going to be able to afford to continue to be an officer because that
Mm-hmm.
penalty will be so high. Your
Mm-hmm.
insurance will go up. If you treat them
Mm-hmm.
like that, trust me, a lot of this would end. Because that made no sense. And even the time that he gave her to respond, I don't even think an animal could move that quickly. Show me a hand, show me a click. What?
Mm-hmm.
What the world? Through the window? What
Right.
happened?
Like,
Come out with your hands up.
right.
What about that? Not in your house. Man, get out. The blinds probably didn't even have a chance to fall in that amount of time that he said that. No
Nope.
announcement, sneaking around, parked far away. It's just too much to that. That is crazy.
Right. Like, she didn't have a chance to psychologically process what you said before you shot her dead. Um, and the worst part about it, like you said, she's inside the house.
Yeah.
A whole window separated y'all. It's not like she was right there. She could all he had to do was take a step literally to the left and then towards the house, and she wouldn't have been able to shoot him even if she tried. It would have taken him a second rather than pulling the trigger. And you know what? If she was a white person, man or woman, doesn't matter. If she was a white person or a Chinese person or an Indian person, well, no, maybe an Indian person because that looks black in the dark. But if that was a white person, there's no way you shoot first and ask questions later. It's just when it's with us. And so, I agree with
Right.
you. I think one way or the other, though, one of the things with that type of like insurance thing is that there cannot be a get out of jail free card like the whole I feared for my life thing. Fear
Yeah.
for your life or not, it doesn't matter. But the actual facts are not you can't assassinate the character of the victim or anything like that. None of those details matter. All that matters is were you actually in fear of your life? Like as in, was there actually a gun pointed at you? A. B, were they actually trying to kill you? And C, did you exhaust all other options before pulling that trigger? And if they can't fulfill all three of those things, then too bad. They get that hit. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm
then,
going
and that
to,
hit's got to be like taxes. You know what I mean? Like how the tax man or like student loans. Like you could claim bankruptcy and they don't care. They're still coming for their student loans. Like that. It's got to be like that.
yeah, we're going to exhaust it. Have the insurance maybe at, I don't know what doctors are. I should have Googled that when I had got the idea. But I was going to go with a standard $5 million. How about that? So whatever that is, you got to have that policy
Mm-hmm.
to be a police officer, and you're going to end up using that. If you have anything left after you pay that family for that
Mm-hmm.
wrongful death, then you can use that um, to help with your expenses, your law expenses. But other than that, nope. That money
Right.
goes to the family that you murdered. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
And
how I
then
would
that
do it.
and then that officer and then the thing is the more of these situations that you're in, the more your insurance should cost, right? So it's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing like with medical malpractice insurance. Well, if your rates overall, like as far as death and whatever, they factor all those things in
Yeah.
to set your baseline price, and then from there, the more times you got to claim insurance, the higher up your premiums go. Just like car insurance, just like any other kind of insurance. You mess up, oh well, you want to continue being cop, it's going to cost you this much per month. Oh, that eats into your money and your ability to live freely. Well, hey, maybe it'll help you think about not putting your finger on the trigger and pulling every time you see a dark complexion, because apparently the whole empathy, human life matters concept, Black Lives Matters concept, that's not good enough. So, all right, let's hit you where it hurts. And we know there's two places where it hurts. And for them, money is the big one. The second one is, well, what's below the belt. But yeah, no, I
Right.
think that's a great idea. I mean, they'll never do it, but I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I think that solve a lot of problems. They would think
Hmm.
twice, maybe even three times.
Right?
Like, oh, I want to put that claim in. I better save this for another time. That does look
Hmm.
like a cell phone. Yeah, yeah, that is a cell phone. I see the light. I see the
Right.
light.
Right. Like, I'm telling you, Shar, if you could come down here for like 30 days, and just see the way that the cops are and the way that they handle very tense, really messed up situations in comparison to what they're doing in America. I'm telling you, if everyone could do that, there should be a rotation America has to do. Americans have to do, Black Americans, where y'all just come here and just see what it's like to to actually feel like you could call the police and no one's gonna die. Like you could call the police and to be like, oh, my
Mm,
mama's crazy, and they won't hurt her. They'll actually bring her to a hospital. They'll treat her nicely, so on and so forth. It's a different world, and when you see that, and you see that it is absolutely possible, then it shows you how necessary it is to put some type of insurance and penalty there. So the penalty is supposed to be to stop them. But to be honest with you, if the cops gun down some family member of yours, yeah, I think that they should be 100% responsible for paying for the funeral, 100% responsible for the lifetime income of that person, lifetime care of the children. Yeah, I think they should be responsible for that. So I think a $5 million payout is more than reasonable. I mean, we could bump it up if we want,
yeah,
but I mean, 5 million minimum. I think that's a great thing. Hmm. I mean, yeah, no,
yeah.
10,
Maybe if you
10
have a
sounds better.
second,
I was just
yeah,
saying.
cost of living. Yeah, cost of living.
Yeah,
Reparations. Yeah, that sounds
right.
about right. Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Reparations. Oh, we're factoring reparations. It's got to be like 25 million every time. Every time y'all do 25 million. We're getting our 40 acres and a mule plus interest. All right, come on, let's do it. Hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
No,
see. I
I
got
really like
something
that
else for
idea.
you. Mhm.
All right,
Yeah, okay. All right.
let's do the thing.
Next thing I have is I have a story about a young 8-year-old girl who wanted to, well, it was picture day, and she was going to have her pictures taken. But the school said, that is an extreme hairstyle that you have. There's no way that we're going to allow you to do that. Oh, of course not. That is extreme. You have the color of some red there? Oh, no. I am sorry. We can't do that. So they wouldn't let her take pictures that day. Sent her home with no pictures. And she was devastated because she couldn't understand what was going on. And the school was some type of, what is that school? Charter school. And I've had bad experience with that with my goddaughter. So yeah, I feel some kind of way about charter schools. So you just have to forgive me. And I don't know what happened, um, but everyone lost their mind and thought that that 8-year-old should not take pigheads red in her hair. Now the pictures
Wow.
weren't compliments of the school. It's not like they paid for it. It's not like they were going to take the picture and put it on their Facebook page and their social media. So they weren't responsible with showing this young girl after this. She took pictures. So I'm not understanding what is that all about. Just not
Uh,
understanding it,
you know
and I
what?
feel some kind of way.
I've seen this. Where I've seen her hairstyle, and I'm being serious, minus the parts. Her hair looks very much like, on more than one occasion, something that my ballet school required for us to do to our hair for recitals. You got to put it up in a high bun. You've got the braids in various little designs and stuff like that, and then I more than once. that I saw that not just in my group, but then in several other groups. So the idea of a little girl putting her hair in a high ponytail, and instead of using um, just black hair, she got a little bit of maroon up in there. But then I guess the big thing is her having the red braid to secure it. Now, I get, yeah, okay, it's a little bit much, but that could have been a scrunchie. But we black, so we'll use our hair to secure our hair. And like, where is the extreme portion of this hairstyle? I don't see it. What I do see is, I mean, it's very nicely groomed. It's in a very tight, neat updo. The updo isn't extravagant. It is little girl appropriate for something fancy for a little girl. You know, you put her hair up in a bun, some braids, and you kind of bunch them together. Where's the elaborate? You know, if that's not in and of itself, you think about how much that shattered that little girl's self-concept and opinion of, you know, how beautiful her hair is. She probably went to school feeling like $1 million, you know? She's feeling all grown with her
Yeah,
little
her mom took the
updo, you
time
know.
out.
Right, right. And
Yeah, she
she's
took
a
the time and
beautiful little girl too. Like, you know, like
yeah.
it it,
Let
it
let
breaks
me
my
know if I'm
heart because
borging, guys. I'm gonna read a little bit of this.
okay.
Uh-oh, am I borging or
I
okay, let me
think we're
know if I'm
just a
borging. I'm
little
gonna
bit
read a little
delayed
bit
a
of
little
this.
bit.
Okay. Girl in Michigan was barred from taking a photo on school picture day because her hairstyle was deemed extreme. Now her parents are speaking out about the incident, saying race had everything to do with this. The third grader in Michigan had her hair done, especially in braids, wrapped into a bun by her mom for her big day. But before leaving the house, camera ready, um, with her black extension, well, black and red extensions. Um, Now she came home feeling defeated. So the school gave this big excuse and everything, saying, well, you can only do this, you can only do that. And we have specific rules and all of this. And braids in general, because I remember reading this, braids in general is considered. So you don't have to have any color in your hair. If it's a braid, it's considered extreme. So
Wow.
I am curious where that story is going to go. I am curious. Like I said, I have something against, I got a little bias. I just had some bad experience with charter schools with my goddaughter, and um, it was almost nightmares. It just ridiculous. They had an event one evening. I'm gonna share this, and then I'll let you go ahead and give your commentary on what you think about this. Um, she was going. They were leaving an event on their way to the bus stop. Stopped in a 7-Eleven to get something to drink, and we all know that that's what the kids do. Younger kids do that. Teens, they want to whatever, Pepsi, Coke, whatever. Right? And she wanted something, and some of the instructors saw them, her and I think two other kids. They were in their car getting ready to go home themselves. And they reported to the school saying that they were, I forgot what the term they used. And I'm like, they're not in school. The event they had at school let out, they're on their way to the bus stop. We have apps now to let us know what time the bus is. I actually track the darn bus, a bus tracker. And anytime after 8 p.m., our buses run slower in Chicago. So they say they have time to get a soda and then go to the bus stop. And they made a big thing about it. Um, Her mom went to the meeting. Some of them had their head down because they had to go along with that foolishness. And she talked to three of them. And then the head person, he just like, well, you know, uh, it was curfew. Curfew doesn't
Mm.
start until I think 10 or 10:30 in Chicago at that time. I don't
Hmm.
know what it is now, if it changed or what. So that didn't even work. She's like, that's maybe true, but it's not up to you to decide that. And it wasn't even that time. It was after 8. I think 8:45, something like that. So they
Mm,
tried everything so they can give her detention and give her a fine because they were good at those fines. They
mm,
love fines.
mm-hmm.
So I have a little thing about that. And so, hey, when you say charter school, I may growl. I'm just letting you know that's why. Now go ahead.
Yeah, because what, and again, the school to prison pipeline is real, whether you get your kids out of public school or not. Um, and in fact, if anything, I would suggest that when your kids are in a majority white school, that they're even more at risk for being unfairly put in that pipeline long before their time, right? And you got to ask, well, what's the reason? Because they look at our children and see animals and criminals. That's what they do. They look at our children and see a problem. They look at our children and see misbehaving, right? They look at our children and basically they see everything, every type of negative stereotype you can think of, every single put down you can think of. When they look at our children, they are automatically biased against our children, and that is what they see, right? Now, even the ones that on the surface you think about this, and I want people to really think hard about this, because white people, even the best intending ones, will be hard pressed to overcome the brainwashing from society, from their parents, from the entire world, that tells them all these negative stereotypes about black people, about black children, about the problems and the behavioral issues that all black children have, and how we're basically born miscreants and whatever. They have a hard time. They are hard pressed to overcome those things. And why will I give them that credit? Because we are hard pressed to overcome those things, because we have a problem not buying into that bullshit. So if we have an invested reason why we shouldn't buy into the bullshit about ourselves and our children, they're even worse off. So even when they're trying, even when they think that they just see all children as being children and blah blah blah, they
Mm-hmm.
still have that implicit bias built into their brains that look at our kids, and every movement that they make, they're looking to categorize it in the worst possible way, just like they're looking to categorize their kids in the best possible way. Um, and I'll tell you, Shar, they actually did studies on this. This is the thing,
Mm-hmm.
people need to realize. They've done studies on what they call implicit bias. So teachers who, everyone would say these are great teachers. They're definitely not racist. They're definitely not, stereotyping our kids. They're good teachers. They're white, but they're good teachers. And actually,
Okay.
some black teachers too. Now, this is what they do. So, and they've done it a couple different ways. But one of the ways that they do is they do this. They just put a camera basically inside of a classroom and observed. And what they noticed is that white kids acted up as often, if not more, than the black children. But when the white kids acted up, it was brushed off. And the black children, almost every single time, were sent to the office, were given detention. It was always a punishable offense. And they were punished. I can't even remember. It was like 10 times more often for the exact same behavior, even though white kids and black kids were acting up in the same way and at the same levels, right? But when our children do it, it's a criminal offense. When their children do it, it's all right. Um, Other things that they've done, and this is not just in one school. They've been doing these types of studies to prove that this exists. The second thing that they've done is they've looked at certain populations, and so our children, for example, and they'll notice that kids are weirdly acting on trends. Like, so if we think that black boys are bad at writing, for some reason they'll just be bad at writing, all of them. So they wanted to see, is this something that is actually true, or is this something that is somehow being influenced? And so what they did was they lied to a bunch of teachers. They gave these kids aptitude tests at the start of the year. And then what they did was they lied to the teachers about the results. So they told some of the teachers, they told the teachers about some of these students, oh my God, these are genius students. Oh my God, they should be like 5 grades ahead. They're so brilliant. And then they told the teachers about some of the students. Oh, these students are, I don't even know how they got to this grade. They're basically idiots. I don't even know how they're going to pass. Okay. Now, they gave the teachers this information at the start of the year. And what they noticed is, and remember, for the record, this had nothing to do with the actual test results. Nothing. The kid could have been a genius, but the teacher was told this kid's an idiot. But what they noticed was this. At the end of the year, when they had the kids redo the aptitude tests, and they looked at all of the stuff that the kids had worked on, all the studies and stuff like that, what they noticed is that the kids, when you told the teacher, oh, this kid's an idiot, guess what? The kid performed down to the expectations. And when you told the teacher, oh my God, this kid is brilliant, the kids performed up to the expectations of the teacher. So you've got a couple things going on where the kids are going to try to live up or live down to the teacher's expectations. But then on top of that is that the teachers are going to treat your kids however they already are biased and stereotyped against your kids, basically, right? So it's like, it's one of those situations where, can you win? Well, just getting Black teachers doesn't solve the problem, because what they notice is this bias against our children exists in Black teachers as well. I mean, we know that. We know colorism. You know what I mean? We know Black men ain't shit from birth. Black women ain't shit from birth. All those things exist too. So it becomes such a problem, because then you're like, okay, well, how do we fix this? How do we fix this so that a kid who's doing nothing wrong and just goes and grabs a pop, which is a totally normal behavior for a kid to do with their spare time, how do we fix it so that way those kids aren't criminalized for absolutely no reason at such an early age, right? That's that question. And it's like, the only thing you can do is exactly what her mother did, because my parents did it for me constantly. My parents showed up. Oh, you want to expel my kid? Oh, this is the reason? Cool. I'll be at the school board then. That's what they would do. So they would show up at the school, and if the school wasn't resolving it to their satisfaction, they went to the school board. I got expelled from school in high school 4 times. And 4 times my parents had me back inside school within 30 days. Because what I was getting expelled for is not something that you should expel children for. There's no reason why, because I decided, I'll tell you a story, because I was a little shit disturber, but I used my mind too much, and I didn't like hypocrisy. I didn't like when things were unbalanced and unfair. So my thing was, in the library, you couldn't wear a hat in the library of the school. But Muslim women were allowed to wear their hijabs inside of the library. So my thing was, well, they're the only ones who are allowed to cover their heads inside the library. But see, I'm a Christian. And I was actually back then. Now I'm a backslider. Back then I was a missionary. And so one of the things in the Bible, not a lot of people actually read it to know, is that you should, it's true, just whatever the preacher preaches at you. But there's a couple things in the Bible. So one is that you should always have a prayer going in the back of your mind, in your heart. You should always be constantly praying, A. And B, when women are praying, their heads should be covered. And that's why here, at least, when you see Christians, they always look rough down, first of all, but they always got a hat on their head. Because you're supposed to cover your head. It says it in the Bible as a woman. So I decided, well, if I wrap my head, just like I do when I go to church, I was actually wrap it like pretty and everything, kind of like African style. If I wrap my head, I should be allowed to go inside that library, because it's a religion thing, right? So if it's a religious headwear, I should be allowed to wear it in there. That's what y'all told me. You told me I had to take off my fisherman's cap, but if it was religious headwear, all right, well, this is religion. And so now, of course, I got sent to the office, talked to the principal. I told the principal exactly what I just told you. Called my mother. My mother called them back and said, actually, that's true. That is actually a true thing, that happens. I actually have special permission from my office to have my head covered and whatever. And then they expelled me. Right. So, well, what did I do that deserved expulsion? Did I hurt someone? Right?
Wow.
Well, what did I do? See, but that's the thing. They didn't care. They didn't mind throwing away my education every chance they got. And you know what? The sad thing is, the last time they did it, they won, because I had grade 13, but my class was the last class to have grade 13. So if you didn't finish, you didn't have grade 13 anymore. It didn't exist. Your curriculum doesn't exist anymore. So what happened was when they expelled me through the last month of school and exams. And when I got off of expulsion, then they told me I could pick up all of the missed work, and I had 3 days to write all 5 of my exams. So I had 3 days to learn 6 weeks of work plus study and then write. It wasn't going to happen, right? So I had to forfeit that semester. And by forfeiting that semester, I was basically throwing away my high school education, right? They want that to happen. Why do they want that to happen? Well, if you can't get a high school education, you can't get post-secondary. They're hoping you won't look into it any further than that and try to get a GED, because that's harder, and try to get a post-secondary education, try to do anything with your life. They are trying to discourage you while you're still up in there, so that way your only option is to do something like shake your ass, sell your ass, something like that. So that way you can get arrested, you can go to jail, school to prison pipeline, there you go. Now, that's all you can do is be a criminal. Because as Mr. $57,000 a year has proven, having a charge on your record does not allow you to get too many types of jobs.
Right.
So that's what they want to do. And they start so young. And, you might dismiss it. You might think it's innocent. You might be wanting to get your, yell at your kid. Because, you shouldn't have da-da-da-da-da. And you should do all that. You make sure you put your kid in their place and whatever. But that's privately at home. Which what you need to do is go to the school. You got to make sure, just like what her mother did, you need to be up in their faces. They need to know your middle name. That's how often you're calling them, that they just happen to know. They know your number on site, because that's how much you're calling, to make sure that you're staying in touch, so that way they know, no, your kid isn't one of those kids who's overlooked. Your kid isn't one of those kids who's forgotten, who's going to fall through the cracks. Not my kid. That's all you can do. And you stay up on it. And in the meantime, privately, this is what my parents would do. My parents would fight to the death for me publicly. When I got inside that car, or when I got home, I knew I was dead. I knew. It didn't even matter if I was right or wrong. I was dead because I was suspended or expelled. But it didn't matter. Not publicly, right? Not publicly. And we have to separate those two things too. We got to discipline our kids. We got to train our kids. We got to train them to fight against this in an intelligent way. Not in a way where you're getting yourself arrested and whatever, but in a way where, you're not going to let the system crush you. So you got to do all that. And then you got to go be your kid's biggest number one advocate, because they're not going to do it for you. They're not going to set up nothing for your kid. They're not going to help your kid catch up. They'll do it for white kids. Trust me, they will. They'll do it for white looking kids. Trust me, they will. When I tell you how much work, my sister's half black, yes, but for all intents and purposes, she's my little white sister. Okay, she's pale as hell. She's like Snow White. Okay, and my sister did all kinds of messing up in school year after year, and every single year when she was basically failing every single class at the end of the year, we'd all have to go and have this meeting with her and blah blah blah. And what are you gonna do and do you want to catch up? And she'd be like, yeah, and then wouldn't do half the work. And so then they would say, okay, well, if you do a quarter of the work, we'll give you the credit. Okay, well, if you do it's like they were negotiating with her. They wanted her to succeed way more than she wanted to succeed. And they did that all through. I'm telling you, the only reason why that kid graduated from high school, her school basically worked for her really hard. That's what they do when they see that white skin. When they see that black skin, when they see that melanin, it's exactly the opposite. They're working real hard to get you out and making sure that you stay out and feel discouraged forever. Whew, sorry. That was a rant. That was a rant, but it's one of those situations where I just see the domino effect. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily see the domino effect and see how it all connects and where it could all go. And it's like, no, y'all need to realize it starts off with these little things. It starts off this small. It starts off this innocent looking, but they are setting your kid up. That's going on their permanent record. Right. Yeah. And that's going to be their justification for later when they suspend your kid for the littlest thing. Well, look at all the infractions inside their record. That's not an infraction.
Right.
Come on. No more.
You're right. And it's too much. And yeah. Well, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to end the stream, and we're going to continue next Saturday. I would say same that time, And it might be same that time. And we'll have some more topics. Hopefully we'll have some more ladies to join us. And see you next week.
Yes, and ladies, feel free to jump on at any time. I can't wait to see some of y'all up here to discuss some of this stuff.
Yeah, I put the link in the chat room. I'll see you. So
Hmm.
do come next week if you can. Thank you everyone for your support. I appreciate it. And see you next time.
All right. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.